Today's Tuesday, and guess what, guys? We've got a Tank 300 diesel and we're going to get it into the workshop and we're going to be test fitting one of our prototype snorkels for the Tank 300 diesel. We've already got these coming for the petrol, so if you've got a petrol one and you like the style of this snorkel, hit us up and we'll sort you out, all right? So head to savagecheck.com.au and we'll sort you out. Now, for the diesel, obviously in the engine bay, it's a bit different, yeah? Our new snorkel is going to come in, replace this panel, and it's going to come up the A-pillar. So let's get into the workshop and let's go have a look. Let's go! All right, so how do you remove the snorkel? Let's go. Unlock it, like that. Velcro stays on the vehicle, and then this clips back in. Lock that in. So that's how it looks without it. All right, so if you want to get into shopping centers or anything, it literally just sits like that and looks like that. So, and then if you want it, so it's with the head, it looks like this. There you go. Before we do that, let's have a look what we're doing in the workshop today. All right, so Sammy has got another Tank 300. Right, so this is a full integrated rooftop tent with a little stargazing skylight in the top. As you can see, you have a good mattress, nice and soft, and in there you also have a sunroof access that you can climb in through the sunroof. To fit one of these, you remove the factory roof rails, and this whole rooftop tent contours to the Tank 300, so it literally mounts to the rooftop. Now this car, we're putting a bonnet protector on it, and we're also rigging up the light bar to the switch, the factory switch, and then we've got a BYD Shark in for an electric roller. Let's continue on with what's going on. So the Tank 300 diesel's in the warehouse now, and we are gonna start fitting up our snorkel. So this snorkel is quick release. So as you can see, you've got the little lever here. That's how you release it. So you undo this, move the latch, the whole snorkel head comes off, and then we've got a replacement one of these that goes and locks into the airbox, all right? So all you'll have is that plastic thing that mounts in the side here, all right? So your air intake pickup will now be here instead of you have this big, massive snorkel in your car. All right, so let's start installing it. You get a replacement airbox, as you can see, a replacement hose, and the whole snorkel head, and a template to cut out the hole behind all this stuff here. So to start installing it, you're gonna open your bonnet and you're gonna remove this. So you've got an 8mm head on it, okay? And that goes there. All right, so you're gonna remove that. You're gonna remove this, which will be a 15 on the windscreen wiper. So you undo that, undo this, and then we're also gonna undo the other side as well. And once we've undo these other sides, so these wipers are gonna pull off, okay? And then we'll be able to access and remove this whole panel off here. All right, so you're gonna remove the windscreen wiper, you give it a few wiggles. All right, once you wiggle, it'll pop off like that. So you're gonna pop that cap off, and then you get a 15mm and you undo it. And same thing with this, you just wiggle it back and forth, up and down. So now that you've undone this, you've undone your wipers, we've also undone the little 8mm behind here. We've started popping this, prying that from under here, and we've also undone all the trim clips all along here, as well as this rubber here. So once that's all removed, so that'll give access to this last bolt that holds this panel down, and this whole panel will be loose. All right, so I'm gonna start popping this off. There's all trim clips holding this down. Get your fingers behind, and just pull it up. All right, and you're gonna go along the whole way. All right, now that whole panel's loose, and remember, you have to undo this as well, okay? You don't need to undo this bolt, just all of this. That whole panel's loose now, so we can pull that out. Just be careful of this as well, the hose going to the wiper head. So just undo the little hose there, okay? We've undone that. That's for the wiper nozzles. So now we can start using our template to drill it. But prior to that, we're just gonna pull this last panel off. So once you've undone the two 8mm here, you'll be able to pop the whole panel off. So now that whole panel's released, and that'll be not used any longer because the snorkel will replace that. So now when you remove this, you've got an 8mm down here, another 8mm down there, and an 8mm up there. So we'll remove that now. So now that's removed. So we're just midway showing you guys what it's gonna look like. So this is where your snorkel is gonna sit. And then now we're gonna drill this hole. So see where the snorkel sits? We're gonna drill this here, all right? And relocate this cable, and we're gonna use the template to drill this hole out now. So we're just quickly undoing the wiper motor because to get access to that plug is a pain on the back of the motor. Now we get access to this bad boy, you'll grab that bolt and then I'll flip this over, and then now you'll be able to see you need to undo this clip, all right? So that's what the clip looks like. Pull it out. So you just need to press the little tab and then pull the whole plug out. And now you're gonna undo this, all right? So you need to pull these off. So we've undone that, all right? So this grommet needs to be pushed back through. Once you push that all back through, Josh will pull that out. Okay, and then we're gonna get our template and we're gonna mark here where we're gonna drill. Well, we don't need to mark it. The template will actually screw in here and we'll be able to drill it. So prior to us drilling that, we're actually gonna fit the airbox. You need to undo this with 13 mils. So you got one down here, one at the back, and that'll let that be removed. That pops out like that. All right, these clips need to be undone, and then the whole airbox should just come out. Like that. All right, so that airbox is now removed. Okay, so that gives us good access to all of that and we can start drilling that, all right? After you finish removing the airbox, you're gonna remove this as well because you don't need this intake pipe anymore. So two 13 mils and this will come out. So with the next step of this, we're gonna be using these templates, right, to make our hole saw, which is provided in the kit. And this hole saw is gonna use this to center it, all right? So you see this big hole here? That is gonna go into that there, and that's gonna cut. Now, this is a template that bolts all together like this. This goes at the front, that goes at the back. The arrows all point up towards the hole that's existing. I'll show you in a sec. So that's technically gonna sit in the vehicle. So that's gonna go behind the firewall. That's gonna go in the middle, like that, a round one. And then this zigzag thing is gonna go on the front of it, all right? And then your hole saw is gonna pick up this big hole here. These come in this, so you have to bend them out of this, okay? This is just, once you got this out, you throw that away. Now these two little bits are also used to locate the top hole, all right? So the top hole, they're all gonna be facing it towards this, okay? So that's gonna go in the middle, and then this is also gonna go in it as well. So that's all gonna go like that, and we'll show you how that goes in the car now. All right, so these templates, right? So we're just pre-threading these in here now, right? So you got 1, 2, so these are the screws provided, and they tap a hole through the plate. That's the backing plate. So that plate is gonna be mounted. Once we pull these out, we'll show you where they go. So see that? We've just pre-threaded those in through there. So we've done 1, 2, and 3, all right? So that plate is gonna go behind here. Now before that, you need to make sure you remove this insulation. So this 10 mil, you just undo it with your fingers like this, all right? 10 mil nuts that hit 1 and 2, and then you can fold this, and that goes in there like that. Then this plate will go in to the spot right that, right? Now, and then you need to line up the one hole at the top, and then obviously the ones at the bottom in a sec. But we'll get the little plate that goes on there, we'll get it glued onto there first. Let's do that. I've got Josh here. He's got a T25 Torx bit, and he's gonna line that up now. Show me what you got there quickly. So you've got the small one, yeah, the small ring and the big ring. So I don't know if you guys can see that, small and big ring, yeah? And a T25, okay? So the small ring goes in here and it's gonna fill that little gap that's there. And then the big one's gonna sit outside to stop it from falling through. So Josh is gonna do that now. And it's gonna locate in the center. All right, so that's pretty much stuck there now like that. And then he's gonna go and grab the next one, the next template. The round one's gonna take up the hole, the gap, right? The star one's gonna go on the outside, so the one closest to us. Then he's gonna feed his little bolts through that come in the kit. He's gonna make sure that's centered. And he's gonna put his second screw in. So that's all centered now. All right, that's what it looks like, okay guys? And then your hole saw is gonna go in that middle hole there, okay? That hole there, all right? There you go, next step, let's go. Cut the car. Are you ready, Josh, to cut the car?
Ready, mate.
Far out. All right, we're going into the center of the hole. All right, let's go.
What's going on? Yeah, it did cook it. What the fuck? Oh, this battery might be fucked.
Chinese steel, mate. It's too good for your Makita. Oh well, tank 300 steel, look at it, she's cooked. Holy moly, the Makita is died from the tanker somebody. Literally, he's like, what's going on? All my batteries aren't working. His drill's dead. Drill's dead. Drill's dead, let's get a real drill, yeah? Here you go, mate. That stinks, dude. All right, we're on to the, what is it? Second drill. When you come through, just be careful. There is a harness underneath, guys. All right, we're through now. Just gonna pull that plate back out.
It is hot.
It is very, very hot, so Be really careful. So when you finish drilling the hole, make sure you undo the backing plate with the T25, as you can't remove this panel we've just cut. One of them. That's it. All right, so now we're gonna trim this to make sure you can get your hole through there. So we're gonna trim that fabric here, as well as we are going to clean all of this Schwarflop, vacuum the hell out of it. Then we're gonna air blow everything out of here. Then we're gonna prime all this and make sure this is not gonna rust. Easy as that. So you just go around and cut that all, and that'll make room for your snorkel hose to come through, all right? So now we're just going around and using a deburrer tool and just cleaning up all the burrs around the edge, and then we're gonna prime it. So just here behind this brake booster and that, above it, you're gonna see a big plastic shroud. Now you need to remove that, okay? So we're gonna get rid of that. So you're gonna have to cut all the cable ties. Now this is one of the hardest snorkels you can ever make for a car on the market. There is just nowhere to run anything. So it's been quite a long time coming. This has been sort of I think about a 2-year project. We're gonna replace that black plastic there with this, and that's gonna go over it to protect it, but it's a lot more flexible. That plastic one in there is very rigid and you can't get the snorkel hose through there. Now another thing is in the kit, there'll be 2 plastic covers, 2 sleeves to go over this, over the ABS, and that'll protect it from the rubber hose wearing through this, because it will wear through this. So you need to put the plastic covers on here, and then the rubber hose sits over it, okay? So make sure of that. There's also a 10mm nut down there that you need to undo. That'll remove the plastic, okay? So see that? You need to remove that nut, all right? Absolute pain in the ass to get this shroud removed, because it's all zip ties all the way up until there. But the joys of wanting to put a snorkel on a Tank 300. So we are that close to getting it all done. So we've painted all in here, all right? So it's all painted, it's not gonna rust. So prior to getting the whole airbox in here, you need to get this mounted on here with the hose clamp, all right? So onto your new airbox that's provided. Your hose needs to be squished down like this so you can feed it through the hole with a cable tie, all right? Now prior to doing that, you need to make sure you install these brackets, okay? So we've installed this, you'll get the bolts that are included as well, so that's all mounted in there. This will relocate this here as well. You relocate the rubber grommet that comes from here onto here, all right, and we've trimmed it down 10mm the back of it. Squeezed it into there, that's all mounted in there now. Then down here, we've got the relocation bracket down here as well, okay, so that'll bolt the airbox onto there. So you've got 3 new relocation brackets, all right, so just remember that, guys. So you've got 1, you got 2, and then you got 3. And then what that does is that puts the new bottom airbox on a different angle so you can get past the ABS module, all right? So it's a complete kit, all right? Now we're gonna feed this through. Prior to doing that, we also need to feed through the windscreen motor harness back through here, all right, at the top. So, and then Josh is gonna feed that through now. Bit of a wiggle and a jiggle. Okay, so now that's in, all right? And you'll see that this sits beautifully. So you'll see that goes back into the factory grommet. That lines up with the hole down there. There's a heat shield on here for the DPF as well. Now that's how it looks, all installed. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this in position and cut the cable tie, and then that'll be all good to go. So then we're gonna get the cable in the right spot, and you'll actually see there's a lip that seals it. So it's not just sitting there, it's actually properly sealed. This is perfectly designed for this car, okay, from the factory. You'll see inside here, there's actually a little, like a rib there, like a molding. So that molded hose is designed to take this windscreen washer, okay? So, and then this is all sealed all the way around. So there's no gaps, all right? It's perfectly, so have a look at this, right? So it's sealed the whole way around. It's even cut through here, factory for the factory washer bottle, okay? So the washer for your windscreen washers will come back. This hose will feed back through there, all right? So get Josh to feed that back through. Okay, so make sure when you're feeding this back in, you've got to move the little plastic filter, okay? And you're gonna feed the hose first. You can see it's perfectly designed for that. So Josh is gonna stick his fingers in there. He's gonna feed that through that hole. All right, so that's the hose pulled out now. Josh is gonna put the filter back on there. All right, and that's how that sits, and that goes back onto the factory, the scuttle panel there, okay? That goes back and clips into that hose, okay? Remember that, guys? So that's how it looks. How good is that? And now Josh is going to reassemble, put the washer bottle, the motor back in, sorry, the washer motor back in. All right, so we're going to put this in now. So we're going to put the hose clamp on quickly. Then we're going to slip the airbox in, like so. Now, prior to putting this in, there is a trim clip behind here that needs to be removed, okay? So just remember there's a trim clip that's going to stop this from going in. You pop the trim clip out, all right? And then this air ducting system will go in. So I might help Josh here. I'll hold the hose clamp, just like that, like I bought one. It's like it was made for this car, I think. Was it made for it?
I think it was.
Look at that, and then get your hose clamp in the right position, do up the hose clamp, and Mickey Mouse. Beautiful, look at that. Hose clamp's on, snorkel's in place. We've got to finish off a few bolts, put the Velcro tape along here for the removable head. So how cool is this? You can run this without the whole head if you want, all right? So some people don't want to have a big snorkel on there. They can just have the mid box on there. But now, Josh will show you how easy it is once we mount all this, how it is to replace it. So in the kit, you'll get this, it's a Torx, all right? So you put that in there and that screws back into your factory trim clip. All right, so in the kit, you'll get a little M6 that goes in here. And remember, you remove the factory little trim clip, and then there's a little M6 that goes there, and you just do it up, all right? So you got one, that one's like a stainless steel Torx bit. So that one's a Torx, that one's an Allen key. That's tight. Now we just got to do this. Now this is the last one to do up, right? This is a T20. And make sure you don't over tighten this because it like spreads inside and it like spreads open and tightens it, but it doesn't need to be super, super tight, all right? All right, so that's nice and tight. Man, how sexy does this look? So it's all mounted up, factory airbox back on, factory hose back on. Look at this, super neat. All right, now we need to get this car back together. We're just gonna quickly put the bracket back on here. So that bracket goes there, and then it'll get mounted back to this. So you've got a bracket here. Man, super secure. OEM, mate. OEM. This is like OEM quality, mate. So this will be right for your Tank 300 diesel and also your Tank 300 petrol. Now we'll go over to the 2-litre petrol, all right? So this is on the 2-litre petrol. All right, so that's how it fits as well. Okay, so it's a little bit different at the front here. So obviously your air intake pickup is here, okay? So that's where your factory air intake comes from, and we will supply the new hose in the kit with it, okay? So it's all like OEM hose quality. It's not some dodgy backyard stuff, all right? It comes with also different relocation brackets. So the petrol is slightly different to the diesel model, okay? So we've got 2 kits available, petrol and diesel Tank 300 snorkel. That's with the full section. To undo it, pretty easy. You pull this pin, right? Pull the pin, pivot it up, it unlocks it. Once that's unlocked, you can literally unvelcro the whole snorkel, all right, like so, and that will come off as easy as that. Then you can put the new cover we provided in the kit, and you can put the cover as you've seen in this video behind me, all right? So that's how it works. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna get the full scuttle panel back on the vehicle, and we're also gonna show you how to remove and put the snorkel head on and off the vehicle. All right, so it's time to put the snorkel head on, well, not the head, the mid pipe, all right? So we've put the Velcro on. Now make sure when you're putting the Velcro on, this is actually tapered and it's already pre-cut to fit the snorkel perfectly, all right? Now, we're gonna come up and we're gonna come and apply this to the vehicle. Now, and then you're gonna come in, you're gonna lock it in, right? Make sure your knob is pulled back. It's gonna automatically pull it in, right? Lock in, that tab goes back in, and make sure when you stick this on, it's stuck on in the right place beautifully. All right, so that's how it fits. Absolutely amazing. Look how solid it is. All right, super rigid, super solid. Now we'll put the head on quickly. All right, so you need to put obviously the bolts that will be provided in the kit. Obviously this is our prototype somehow and it's been in the warehouse lying around, so we're missing it. And this is one of our staff's cars. So we're literally gonna just put some M8 bolts in here now just to temporarily until we get the proper replacements. But in your kit, you'll get the full kit, all right? So that's how it looks. All right, that's nice and solid. Now, what's this hole for? That's so when the water comes in, it automatically goes in and out the back. So you don't get water all into your airbox, which is really good design. All right. not like your stainless steel snorkels that get all your water into your airbox. All right, so how do you remove the snorkel? Let's go. Unlock it, like that. Velcro stays on the vehicle, snorkel goes aside, and then this clips back in, like that. So that's how it looks without it. All right, so if you want to get into shopping centers or anything, it literally just sits like that and looks like that. So, and then if you want it, so it's with the head, it looks like this. So I'm just gonna quickly tell you guys, what's this little section underneath here for, yeah? All right, so say for instance, you want to put an air compressor, onboard air compressor in your car and permanently mount it in there. You can put your hose fitting here so you can easily quick disconnect an air fitting line on the side of your car. How cool is that? So imagine that you just plug your air line in like this, boom, boom, undo it, and away you go.